You wake up and your family business of 25 years is gone, taken by the city and sold to the highest private bidder for your land. How can this be legal? Stay tuned.
And for them to come in and tell me how much my property is worth, and for me to get out because they're bringing in somebody else, when I own the land, unfounded to me, it don't even sound like the United States.
This is Mesa. While it seems like a less exciting Phoenix, the city of Mesa put a national spotlight not only on the city, but on eminent domain cases and the abuse of government power. This case involved city officials, the Mesa mayor, and even was featured on a 60 Minutes episode with the infamous Mike Wallace.
Just about everyone knows that under a process called eminent domain, the government can and does seize private property for public use, to build a road or a courthouse. But did you know the government can also seize your land for private use if they can prove that doing it will serve what is called the public good?
In a low and ultimately illegal blow to this entrepreneur, this family legacy is tarnished and caught up in a nationwide controversy. This changed everything for small business owners here in Arizona and even nationwide with eminent domain. What was Mesa trying to get away with? Let's uncover the details. In eminent domain, it must be taken for public use. This could be parks, schools, highways, post offices, anything to benefit the public. Yet at the time this case happened, cities across the nation were abusing this power called eminent domain. They were taking private businesses and selling them to developers for a higher cost of business and more tax revenue for the cities. 25 plus years, that's how long Bailey's Brake Service was here in Mesa. Some of you Mesa locals might have driven past this on Country Club in Maine. A family-owned business, Randy Bailey purchased the brake shop from his father with nothing but his savings. And this brake shop served a lot of loyal customers and provided tax revenue for the city of Mesa. But this didn't deter Mesa. In a low and ultimately illegal blow to this entrepreneur, this family legacy is tarnished and caught up in a nationwide controversy.
Eminent domain has its purposes, you know. True legitimate public use projects have got to be carried out, you know. I mean, even if this was going to be a city park or a library, you know, things that are public use, you got to have tools to be able to do things like that. But you got to be able to stop the good old boy deals of transferring property to private people. The Constitution says you cannot take private property and transfer it to a private person, you know, and that's black and white to me, you know. And what they're doing is not black and white. It's definitely shady.
The city of Mesa made a powerful and intrusive move. They planned to take the Baileys by the way of eminent domain. This was to transfer the property here located on Country Club in Maine, a way more desirable area, to a privately owned hardware store.
In Mesa, this is the corner, Main Street and Country Club. There's not a better corner in this city.
And business has been pretty good down the years?
Business has been awesome.
The city of Mesa was planning to use tax dollars from the Mesa resident to fund their illegal seizure of Bailey's Brake Shop here. Basically, Randy Bailey, the gentleman that owned Bailey Brake Services' own tax dollars, were funding this illegal and unethical seizure of his own privately held business. Now, the city of Mesa did offer compensation to Mr. Bailey, but unfortunately this was substantially below what it would cost Mr. Bailey in order to relocate his brake shop from Country Club in Maine to another location.
I'm standing in their way. I'm their thorn in their side.
It was then the city of Mesa decided to force Mr. Bailey out, but how did they think they could get away with this? Well, it runs way deeper than you may expect, and the decision from the city of Mesa goes all the way up the chain of command, all the way to the top officials at Mesa.
If you would, please state your full name.
Gregory J. Merrick,
And your occupation.
redevelopment director for the City of Mesa.
Will the city have any ownership stake in the project on Site 24?
No.
Will the city receive any rental income?
No.
Will all of the profits accrue to the private owners of this development?
By profits, you mean?
Any profits generated by the the hardware store, the discount store, the
Operation of their
offices.
businesses, you
That's
mean?
correct.
Yeah, no, we would not get any of those profits.
The case landed in Maricopa Superior Court, and ultimately what transpired next was insane. It began with Mr. Ken Lenhart, the owner of this Ace Hardware, wanted to relocate his hardware business to the corner of Country Club and Main Street, right where Mr. Bailey's Brake Shop was. According to city officials, I think after Mr. Ken Lenhart spoke with them, the Bailey's Brake Shop, they found their loophole in their way to really petition the city by claiming that Mr. Bailey's brake store was an eyesore. And apparently this argument held weight because the city officials have already came in and tore out some of the surrounding businesses around that location.
Now, what used to be in all of this property, I mean, everything else has disappeared.
The city come in and got immediate possession and started demolishing it, making it dirt.
The city has made dirt out of 3 restaurants and 4 businesses that once stood on this 5-acre lot.
And it's not just business properties that they're doing this on. You know, they wiped out 8 people's homes over here. You know, your home ain't even safe.
To further their case, city lawyers entered into court rulings that this was a blighted or slum area of Mesa that didn't go along with the proposed redevelopment of the downtown. Mayor Keno Hawker originally opposed this as a city councilman. Ironically, 6 months later, he voted in favor for it. Ultimately, the decision Mesa made to try to take Mr. Bailey's Brake Shop was unconstitutional on a federal and state level. But this wasn't an open and shut case. There was a lot more to this story. The case landed in Maricopa Superior Court, and ultimately what transpired next was insane. The city of Mesa filed an action against the Baileys, claiming that they were taking the property through eminent domain, which later was ruled lawful, and the courts actually ruled in favor of that eminent domain case. However, the Baileys counterclaimed that, stating that it didn't meet the public use requirements for the laws under eminent domain. In particular, Article 2, Section 17 of the Arizona Constitution. The city moved to an order of immediate possession. In an evidentiary hearing, the trial court actually ruled that the use of eminent domain by Mesa was lawful. This led to an order which granted immediate possession to the city. However, there was a block to this and a counterclaim from the Baileys alleging that the proposed taking violates Article 2, Section 17 of the Arizona Constitution,